because she knew I knew all about the Earth's molten core, but I said yes, sure, China, why not? One day I really got at it. It must have been hours of digging. After a while I could no longer hear the noise of the neighborhood. No cars passing or bird song. I was working with a trowel, smoothing the sides and rearranging the boards. After the day's work was done, I tossed out the trowel and reached up to grab the sides. They had grown beyond my grasp. I was perhaps 5 feet tall, and the hole was close to 7. I tried planting my feet against the walls of the hole and propelling myself upward. That didn't work. There was no purchase there. I straightened my back against one wall and tried running up the other. That worked just well enough to allow me to fall back down into the hole from a height several times. I called out once or twice, but stopped because I had at the time a strong fear of seeming foolish. I did not want a stranger to find me in a trap of my own idiotic design. I ran through the scenarios. What if no one found me? Unlikely. What if it rained? I'd float to the top. What if I had to go to the bathroom? Dirt is very absorbent. What if the hole collapsed? Not my hole. This was a hole built with quality in mind. So I sat down in the hole to wait. That's what I remember best. Memories are strange things. Think back on the fondest recollections of your distant past. Usually, the memory is reassuring and warm. In all likelihood, it's remarkably detailed. Coming down the stairs on Christmas morning, or that thing your father explained to you on that long drive to wherever, something that's always stuck with you and helped to orient your relationship with him. These remembrances seem almost too real to be credited. Freud would say that's because they are. He called them screen memories, several disparate impressions, often unconnected, pastiched by your mind into one powerful recollection that covers over all the others. In the process, negative feeling is removed. It's a powerful tool of the brain meant to comfort us. By Freud's lights, screen memories often have a negative function, compelling us to repeat in adulthood those antisocial behaviors we observed as children. Maybe your father was screaming at you during that drive rather than talking to you. Maybe you've become a screamer. Maybe you can't bear to be around screaming. Maybe you've figured out the difference between what you think happened and what did and found a way through it. And maybe it actually happened the way you remember. Your father's gone. Who's to say? Everything that follows here is not necessarily exactly as it happened, but exactly as I remember it happening. I've seen Rashomon enough times to know there's a profound difference. But at our core, what are we but an agglomeration of the things we believe happened to us? Reality has very little to do with it. So I remember being in the hole. I remember it better than yesterday or the day before. I still dream about it. Those few times I have trod across a freshly plowed field, the smell transports me back there. It was cool in the hole and utterly still. It was soundless, but it did not have the same quality as the silence you feel when you cover your ears. It was wide open in its emptiness. What I felt there was safety. I was hidden away and could not be disturbed or impeded by any person or force. I felt calm. My thoughts were liquid and ordered at the same time. I wasn't thinking about the hole or why I'd done it or how I'd got there. I wasn't thinking at all. It's only in childhood that we can have purpose without an end. A child at play has no objectives or goals. We do in order to do. Taking religiosity out of it, it was the first time I felt whatever people mean when they say the word Zen. Like so many other insignificant happenings of childhood, that one has defined me. As an adult, I have strong mole-like tendencies. I like to be tucked up in small places as long as the exit is open. If I get into a bed that is pushed against a wall, I cannot sleep unless my back is touching it. When I enter a room, I move to its rear and put objects, a table, a bar, in between the crowd and myself. I like to watch what's happening at the party through that aperture, however haphazard. I was in there a while, maybe an hour, maybe 2. I wasn't bothered and so kept no track of time. When I heard my mother's voice out in the yard, it wasn't an interruption. My moment of profound, aimless introspection simply stopped, and the buzzing in my brain kicked up again, like an engine turning over. "Here," I said, "I'm here." She wandered over and looked into the hole. "Are you finished?" "Yes, can you help me out?" My mother is not a big person, and even then I was. She lay down at the edge, and I got hold of the arms of her shirt and scuffled up the sides until we were able to wrestle me to the top. She was as filthy as I by the end of this process, and more than a little put out. Annoying the Batinsky neighbors was good and all, but it was she who had to do the laundry. "I think that's enough digging," she said. My mother never said I couldn't do things. She only suggested it in a way that had more force than any order. I didn't argue. The hole had achieved its purpose. The next day I filled it in.